In the 1960s, Boeing engineers faced what seemed to be an insurmountable task, an unprecedented challenge that many considered nearly impossible. They were tasked with creating an aircraft that would be twice the size of any existing airplane at the time. This bold decision forever changed the face of aviation. Thus, the Boeing 747, the majestic jumbo jet, was born, revolutionizing the way humanity crossed vast oceans. However, beneath its gleaming aluminum exterior lie secrets known to only a few. Why did an aircraft designed for a few years become an aviation icon for decades? What nearly led this engineering marvel to ruin its creator? Today, I will reveal 10 incredible secrets of the legendary 747, and afterward, you will see it in a completely different light. I assure you, the most unexpected of these secrets is not the one you might think. Let's start with the first secret of how a coincidence turned into an iconic symbol. The most recognizable feature of the Boeing 747 is its distinctive hump, but few know that it was not originally intended for passengers. In the 1960s, Boeing was convinced that supersonic airliners would soon replace conventional planes. Therefore, the Boeing 747 was primarily designed as a cargo aircraft. This massive hump was nothing more than an engineering solution. The pilots were moved upstairs so that the nose of the plane could fully open for loading large containers. However, this coincidence gave passengers a unique experience. In the Boeing 747, passengers could sit in front of the pilots, occupying seats from which takeoff and landing seemed like an incredible spectacle. Thus, a compromise became the aircraft's hallmark, and its silhouette became recognizable worldwide. The second secret is related to the aircraft's remarkable speed. Despite more than 50 years since its debut, the Boeing 747 remains the fastest subsonic passenger aircraft. Modern airliners like the Dreamliner or Airbus A350 are undoubtedly more economical and technologically advanced, but the speed the jumbo develops is impressive, about 910 km per hour at high altitude. Most modern planes fly at about 8/10 the speed of sound. At first glance, the difference seems insignificant, but on a transatlantic route, it can amount to tens of minutes. A striking example of this was in 2020 when British Airways on a Boeing 747 caught a powerful jet stream and crossed the distance from New York to London in just 4 hours and 56 minutes. It's almost like flying on the supersonic Concorde, but without breaking the sound barrier. The question arises, how did engineers in the 1960s, without modern computers, create an aircraft that remains unsurpassed in speed? The third secret reveals an amazing rescue story. In 1991, during the civil war in Ethiopia, Israel began an urgent evacuation. Thousands of people needed to be evacuated in a matter of hours. The solution was the Boeing 747. All seats were removed from the aircraft, turning it into a vast empty shell. And a true miracle happened. 1,088 people were accommodated on a single flight, which is twice the standard capacity. This record remains unbeaten. Moreover, during the flight, 2 more children were born. It was not only a humanitarian miracle but also a vivid testament to the incredible capabilities of the Boeing 747's design, capable of more than anyone could have imagined. The fourth secret unveils the fascinating world of an analog masterpiece. When the Boeing 747 first took to the skies, pilots faced a panel consisting of 971 instruments and switches, each with its significance. This was the era before digital glass cockpits. Only 3 people could manage this giant: the captain, the co-pilot, and the engineer. They worked as a single organism, monitoring fuel, electricity, pressure, and numerous other systems. But the most interesting aspect was the culture that developed as a result. Long transatlantic flights became not only a test, but also a way to form special friendships and respect among crew members. Every flick of a switch, every movement of the needle was a living dialogue with the aircraft, which today has been replaced by computers. The fifth secret tells of a mad gamble made in 1966. Boeing went all in, staking its entire future on creating an aircraft that many deemed impossible. The scale of the project was truly grand. 6 million parts, 171 miles of wiring, 5 miles of pipelines, and 75,000 drawings. No factory on Earth could accommodate such a project. The solution was to build the largest building in the world. Thus, the Everett plant was born, still holding the record for volume. The team that managed this overwhelming task earned the nickname The Incredibles. They worked day and night, solving problems that had never existed before. And now attention, from idea to first flight took only 28 months. By today's standards, this would be incredible. even for creating a small aircraft. If the Boeing 747 had failed, Boeing would have simply ceased to exist. At that time, the program cost over $1 billion, which by modern standards equals almost $9 billion. It was a sum far exceeding the entire capital of the company and meant not just creating a new aircraft. It was a decisive all-or-nothing bet aimed at defining the future of aviation. Secret number 6. A revolution in design. Have you ever wondered how the legendary Boeing 747 was initially supposed to look? In its first drawings, it was a full-fledged double-decker airliner, with 2 passenger levels running the entire length of the fuselage. It looked quite impressive, but a serious safety issue arose. According to the strict rules of the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA), the aircraft had to ensure the complete evacuation of all passengers in 90 seconds. However, with 2 fully loaded decks, this seemed impossible. As a result, the concept was revised. The original idea of a full second floor had to be abandoned, leaving only a partial hump at the top of the fuselage. This is how the recognizable silhouette of the 747 appeared, with its elegant curve known in every corner of the planet. But the most amazing thing is that this complex design decision gave the aircraft an incredible capability. Now it could transform from a passenger liner into a cargo plane. Placing the cockpit on top made it possible to create a hinged nose, allowing the transport of giant cargos. Thanks to this feature, the Boeing 747 continues its life as a cargo aircraft, even as its passenger counterparts are retired and sent to scrapyards. The irony is that this key feature of the aircraft was not originally intended. Secret number 7. The flying canvas. Now let's ask a simple but important question. How do you repaint an airship that is comparable in size to a shopping mall? Every time the Boeing 747 changes its livery, it turns into an operation comparable in scale to a movie. First, the old coating is completely removed, exposing the aluminum skin. This process is done not only for aesthetics but also for engineering control, as specialists check the body for cracks and signs of corrosion. Then the real magic begins. About 450 liters of paint are used on the aircraft. At first glance, it may seem like a small amount, but it adds 200 to 250 kilograms of additional weight. This, in turn, means thousands of extra liters of fuel consumed over years of operation. That's why some airlines prefer to save by choosing minimalist paint schemes, while others turn the 747 into a canvas for true works of art. Let's recall British Airways with their retro livery or the stunning One Dreaming by Qantas. This aircraft is no longer just a means of transportation. It has become a cultural symbol, visible even from kilometers above. Secret number 8. The record holder. In 1989, Qantas achieved what experts stubbornly refused to believe. The aircraft covered 11,000 miles without a single stop, flying from London to Sydney. This incredible journey required nearly 240 tons of fuel. To put it into perspective, that amount would be enough to fuel a regular car for an eternity. For more than 50 years, this flight remained convincing proof that the jumbo could accomplish the impossible. Secret number 9. The shuttle carrier. For 30 years, NASA used the Boeing 747 to transport space shuttles. The aircraft was reinforced, stabilizers were installed, and part of the internal components were removed. It completed 87 flights, carrying Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour. In 2012, it delivered Endeavour to Los Angeles and went into well-deserved retirement. Just think, what other airliner could take on such a mission and carry a spacecraft on its back? Secret number 10. A cultural phenomenon. But the most important secret of the Boeing 747 lies not only in its technical characteristics, but in the fact that it became a symbol of an entire era. It has transported over 7 billion passengers, reunited thousands of families across oceans, and conducted humanitarian flights. The presidential aircraft Air Force One, the silhouette of the jumbo that children could easily draw from memory. For pilots, it was the pinnacle of their careers, and for passengers, a sense of privilege when they reached the upper deck. Today, it is gradually being replaced by more efficient airliners, but with the Boeing 747, the magic also departs. It was an era when an aircraft was not just a means of transport, but the queen of the skies. The Boeing 747 is more than just a plane. It is a true engineering revolution, a cultural symbol, and a machine that changed the world forever.